welcome. Be sure to like and subscribe for more scary stories, or I will come for you. I'd like to thank Gemma and Broken Beauty for joining the Curator's Disciples. Your viewership is very much appreciated. I'd also like to personally thank everyone that left such supportive comments for Grim Reaper. Please know he has seen your comments and is very appreciative. This kind of positivity is exactly why we have the best fucking horror community on YouTube. Love you guys. If anyone would like early access to my latest stories and an ad-free listening experience, consider becoming one of the Curator's Disciples. The link is in the description below. Finally, I'd like to announce that my new podcast, the Curator Dark Web Horror Anthology, is now live on Spotify and Apple Podcast. It is a slow process editing my stories for podcast, so please be patient. All stories will be up soon enough. Without further ado, today's story, Bane's Ugly Cousin, by the Curator. I don't really know how to start this. I've never written anything like this before, and honestly, I'm kind of afraid to even post it. But I keep thinking about what happened, the way it all unfolded, and I feel like I have to tell someone, even if it's just strangers online. My name's Matthew, or at least that's what people used to call me before the nickname stuck. They called me Worm. Yeah, Worm. Like a thing that slithers in dirt and gets stepped on without anyone noticing. It started as a joke from some kid in 7th grade because I had this habit of keeping my head down and never looking anyone in the eye. The name stuck, and by the time I hit sophomore year at Brookside High, it wasn't just a joke anymore. It was who I was. The invisible one, the weak one, the one people could mess with just because they were bored and no one would do a damn thing. Brookside looks nice if you don't go there. It's got this fancy brick front and these banners that say stuff like excellence in character and home of the Brookside pride. But the truth is, it's a rotten place. Everyone smiles when the principal walks by, but they've all got knives hidden behind their backs. No one gives a shit what happens when the doors close behind you. If you're not on the football team, you're just a target. And that's where Troy, Landon, and Zeke come in. Troy Kessler was the golden boy, quarterback, tall, perfect teeth. That kind of smooth talker that makes teachers swoon even when he's turning in homework 2 weeks late. But underneath all that, he was a monster. I saw it in his eyes, cold, dead, like he didn't actually see people. Just things, toys to mess with. And I was his favorite toy. Landon Bow was his sidekick. Built like a damn refrigerator with legs. Dumb as a brick, but dangerous because he didn't think before he acted. If Troy told him to do something, he'd do it with a grin, like a dog playing fetch, only the stick was usually someone's face. Zeke Maddox was the worst in a different way. He was thin, smug, and always had that stupid phone in his hand. He recorded everything, the beatings, the humiliations. He liked getting the good angles. I think he got off on it. I really do. And he always made sure the videos got shared around. Snapchat, Discord, whatever. I was their project. Every day, it was something new. Getting tripped in the hallway, having my books kicked down the stairs, getting shoved into lockers so hard I'd bruise for a week. And no one said anything. Not teachers, not other students. Hell, even the janitor saw Troy slam me against a vending machine once and just turned around like he forgot what he came for. But it wasn't just shoving and name-calling. It got darker, meaner. One time during third period, Troy broke a pencil and jabbed the sharp end straight into my cheek. Just pressed it in while Landon held my arms. Zeke recorded it while laughing like a hyena. I bled all over my notebook, and they just walked away like nothing happened. I went to the nurse, and you know what she said. Maybe try staying out of their way, like I asked for it. Another time, behind the gym, Landon tackled me from behind. I hit the pavement hard, and before I could move, Troy unzipped his pants and pissed on my backpack. Said he was marking his territory. Zeke zoomed in on my face the whole time. But the worst was what happened on a Friday in October. They cornered me after last bell, dragged me into the locker room, locked the doors. Troy had a box cutter. I'll never forget the way it clicked open. He said, "Let's give the worm some ink." I tried to run, but Landon held me down. Zeke filmed while Troy cut the word worm into my stomach. Letter by letter. I couldn't scream. Landon had his sweaty hand clamped over my mouth. I thought I was going to pass out. Blood soaked my shirt. My legs kicked uselessly. I saw red. I tasted metal. And all the while, Zeke narrated it like some YouTube prank. They left me there on the cold tile, bleeding, shaking. My shirt shredded. Zeke's caption on the video, when it got posted that night, was "Worm Boy gets inked." It spread like wildfire. Even people I'd never talked to sent laughing emojis or links to the clip. I had teachers say, "I hope you're feeling better," without ever asking what actually happened. I didn't feel better. I felt gone, like I'd been erased. After that, I stopped talking at school. I didn't eat. I barely slept. I kept hearing the laughter even when I was home. I'd sit in the bathtub for hours, just staring at the faucet, wondering what it would be like if I filled the tub and didn't come back up. But I didn't do that. Not yet. Instead, I went to the only person who had ever really paid attention to me. Corey. Corey and I used to be friends in middle school. We drifted apart, but not in a mean way, just different directions. He got deep into tech stuff, hacking forums, building weird PCs with water cooling and rainbow lights. He didn't go to parties or play sports. He liked the quiet, same as me, and I think that's why I trusted him. That night, I showed up at his place without texting. Just stood outside his door until his mom let me in. I was a mess. One eye swollen shut, bruises all over, still bleeding through the gauze on my stomach. He didn't ask questions at first, just sat me down and gave me an old hoodie. I broke down. I cried harder than I'd ever cried in my life. Ugly, chest-hurting sobs. I told him everything, every detail. The pencil, the knife, the urine, the nickname. And then, when I was done, he looked at me with this strange calmness and said, "You want to hurt them back?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He got up, walked into his room, and came back with this old laptop, booted into some kind of weird black screen with green text. No mouse, no icons, just typing. He said it was a hidden Linux partition, something he only used when he needed to disappear. I didn't know what that meant. Still don't, really. Then he showed me something he called Obsidian Net, a part of the internet you can't get to from Chrome or Safari. Layers of encryption, fake proxies, hidden servers. It felt like stepping into a world I wasn't supposed to see. There were forums, threads with titles like custom service, No witnesses, and live feed, 13 minutes of agony. I saw usernames like Night Sweat and Wound Agent. Corey didn't linger. He knew where to go. He scrolled until we found something with a profile picture that made my stomach turn. It was a blurry black and white still from what looked like security footage. A huge figure wearing a steel mask, dragging something behind him down a hallway. The walls were smeared with what looked like blood. The name under it: Bane's ugly cousin, $5,000. Sledgehammer justice, 100% guaranteed. The bio was short. No talk. No torture. No trace. Just hammer. No refunds. The reviews were unreal. Squashed him like a grape. No hesitation. He came at night. The screaming lasted 14 seconds. Left a stain on the wall and a tooth in the carpet. Corey turned to me and said, "All we have to do is send the names, location, and schedule. Then we wire the payment." I sat there, shaking. It didn't feel real. It felt like some dumb creepypasta or one of those scary videos people make for YouTube. But then I thought about Troy's boot pressing on my neck. I thought about the blood on the tiles. I thought about how no one cared. And I nodded. Just once. Corey typed everything. Full names. Where they hung out. What time they usually met behind the gym. All the info. Then he clicked submit. A countdown timer started on the screen. Confirm payment. Corey reached into a locked drawer and pulled out a thick envelope. "I've been saving for a long time," he said, "for something important." And he smiled. A real smile. That was the moment I realized Corey had been waiting for this. Maybe not this exact thing, but something like it. A chance to act. To do more than just watch. I didn't smile back. I just watched the timer tick down. The night it happened was weirdly quiet. Not just outside, but inside me. There wasn't any fear or second guessing. No adrenaline. I didn't feel sick or anxious or anything I thought I would. It was like I'd gone numb. Like my brain had flipped a switch and I was just a passenger now, watching. The plan was simple. We knew Troy, Landon, and Zeke were planning to meet behind the gym that night. They called it a midnight blunt run. It was their tradition after a Friday win. They'd smoke, drink, light fireworks, and make dumb videos of themselves doing tackles and yelling at the moon. Corey had sent those details to the dark web form. Everything. Names. Schedule. Coordinates. It felt so easy. Too easy. Still, we weren't sure if anything would happen. Part of me honestly thought it was a scam. Some freak who'd just take the money and vanish into the internet. But then the message came. Just before 11 p.m. Subject, order accepted. Body, estimated time 12:15. Do not interfere. That was it. No name, no icon, just plain text, like it came from some ancient machine that never needed emotion or punctuation. Corey looked over at me and whispered, "It's happening." I didn't respond. I just stared out the window. We didn't go to the field. We weren't that stupid. But Corey had found a workaround. Earlier that day, he hacked into Zeke's phone. Zeke thought he was smart, but his cloud backup had no password. So, Corey mirrored the camera feed to his laptop. That night, we watched everything from the safety of his basement in real time through Zeke's camera lens. It started like every other video they made, just noise and smoke. They were laughing, pushing each other, taking swigs from a bottle of vodka. Zeke had his Bluetooth speaker blaring something loud and obnoxious. One of them lit firecrackers and tossed them across the field. The camera was set on a little tripod, low to the grass, capturing their chaos in wide angle. I saw Troy dancing around like an idiot, shirtless, yelling, "Brookside bitches, state champs, baby." Landon was flexing his arms, pounding his chest, daring someone to tackle him. Zeke kept adjusting the tripod, making sure he was in frame too. He was filming himself when it started. That sound, it came from off camera at first. Distant, steady, a low, thudding rhythm, like someone dragging something heavy across pavement. Then came the whistling. I swear to God, I will never forget that sound for the rest of my life. It was this slow, eerie little tune, like something from an old soldier's lullaby. I couldn't place it, but it chilled me instantly. A kind of tune you'd hear over a grainy war documentary before a massacre. The three of them froze. Troy looked off toward the tree line. "What the hell is that?" Zeke turned the camera manually, and that's when we saw him, walking into the light. At first, it didn't look real, like someone in a costume, but then the details hit me all at once. He was massive, easily 7 feet tall, probably more, bare-chested, with these thick leather suspenders strapped across his torso. His arms were huge, pale, and scarred. Not muscular, like a bodybuilder, just dense. His skin looked gray in the moonlight, stretched and calloused. His face was hidden behind a steel mask. It looked handmade, like someone had taken an old car hood and welded it into shape. There were no eye holes, just slits, and dried red smears streaked down from them, like tears. In his hands, both of them, he dragged a sledgehammer. It was massive, taller than a baseball bat. The head of it was thick and rusted, stained black and brown. Every step he took made a soft crunching sound in the grass, but it sounded heavy, like the ground hated holding him up. Troy shouted, "Yo, what the fuck? You lost, or something." Landon didn't say anything. He just ran forward. He charged at the guy like an idiot. That's when it began. The man didn't move until Landon was 10 feet away. Then he brought the hammer up slow, like it weighed nothing, and swung it sideways into Landon's knee. I heard it crack through Zeke's camera mic. The sound didn't even register as human at first. It was like someone broke a chair in half. Landon dropped instantly, screamed, loud, rolled on the ground, clutching his leg as it bent the wrong way. I could see bones sticking through the skin. He tried to crawl. The man didn't hesitate. He grabbed Landon by the back of the neck and lifted him like he was picking up a pillow, then slammed him down, back first into the dirt. The hammer came down right after. Once, twice, over and over. The camera shook with each impact. Landon's chest collapsed like a soda can. Blood sprayed upward in thick spurts, soaking the ground around him. His arms twitched a few times, then stopped moving completely. You couldn't even recognize his body after the 5th hit. It was just a red crater with meat inside. Troy screamed. Not like he was scared, like he was next. He turned and ran, sprinting across the field. But the masked man didn't rush. He just walked. Every step, that same whistling tune followed. Zeke was trying to run too, but he kept looking back, holding the phone, breathing hard into the mic. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Troy made it maybe 20 feet before the hammer hit him in the back. It didn't just knock him down, it broke him. His arms went limp, He hit the ground and tried to crawl, but his legs wouldn't move. The masked man stepped on his ankle, hard, and Troy let out this high-pitched animal sound. Then the hammer came down again. It landed square on the back of his head and just caved it in. There was no scream that time, just a sickening crunch. His skull folded in like wet paper. One of his eyes popped out. The blood that came out was thick and slow, like it had nowhere left to go. Zeke had dropped the camera by now, but the feed kept going. The frame caught a glimpse of Zeke's feet running. Then silence. Nothing but wind. Then the whistling came back. It was closer. I saw the camera tilt again, catching a blurry glimpse of Zeke trying to hide behind the goalpost. And then, thud, the sound of something hitting flesh. Then a gasp. Then a wet, cracking sound. The camera caught a single image in that moment, just a flash as Zeke's legs were kicked out from under him. His body dangled, twitching from the goalpost. He'd been impaled through the torso. Blood rained down like thick, sticky syrup. The camera tilted up just slightly to show the figure standing below him. The hammer rested on the grass, his head tilted like he was admiring his work. And then he whistled again. That same awful tune. The video ended. Corey and I sat in silence. The room felt cold. My stomach felt twisted in knots. I turned and threw up in the trash can. Corey didn't even move. He just stared at the frozen frame, the red, the mask, the hammer. He whispered, "We did it." And I said no. He did it. Then we shut the laptop. We never spoke about it again. The next morning started with sirens. I heard them through my window before my alarm even went off. I lived less than 3 blocks from Brookside, and the sound just kept building. First one, then another, then more. By the time I looked out my window, there were 5 cop cars screaming toward the campus, lights strobing across the neighborhood like a fire had broken out. It didn't feel real at first. I remember standing there in my hoodie, half asleep, watching the blue and red reflections flicker across my walls like I was still in a dream. I think I already knew what had happened. I think part of me had always known what we'd asked for. But seeing it unfold for real, that was something else. My mom came into my room and said, "Something's going on at school. Maybe it's a drill," but her voice was already shaking. 15 minutes later, the text started. Group chats blew up. "What the fuck is going on at Brookside?" Cops just shut down the whole field. I heard someone found a body. Then it escalated. It's Zeke. I swear to God, they found Zeke. Troy's dead too. I just saw his brother crying in the parking lot. No fucking way. This is fake, right? It wasn't fake. I walked downstairs in a daze, sat at the kitchen table while my mom flipped through the news on her phone. She looked pale, kept saying, "Jesus, Jesus, oh my God." Then she read something out loud. 3 students found dead behind Brookside High School early this morning. The bodies were described as mutilated beyond recognition. That was the exact phrase the reporter used. Mutilated beyond recognition. The news didn't get the details right, obviously. They never do. But I already knew the details. I'd seen them. I'd watched them unfold in real time. I saw Landon's chest collapse. I saw Troy's face implode. I saw Zeke's body hanging from the goalpost like some kind of grotesque flag. And now the world knew too. At school, everything stopped. They canceled classes for the week. The campus was sealed off with yellow tape and crime scene vans. News helicopters hovered above the football field, zooming in with long lenses. They blurred the footage on TV, but it didn't matter. Everyone knew what happened by lunchtime. Everyone felt it. Brookside went silent, like a spell had been cast. The teachers didn't talk. The students just whispered. And me, I sat in my room with the curtains shut, laptop open, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It didn't take long. That afternoon, I got an email. No sender, no subject line. Just a black screen with one sentence. Delivery confirmed. Below it was a line of text that said, "Thank you for choosing Bane's ugly cousin. Satisfaction is assumed. Attachment auto-deletes in 30 minutes. And then there it was. Worm Justice Final.mp4. I hovered over the file with my mouse, hand trembling. I shouldn't have clicked it. I know that now. But I did. And what I saw broke something in me. It was the same footage from the night before. Only this time, it was cleaned up, stabilized, edited, like someone had taken Zeke's shaky camera and turned it into a snuff film with production value. The video started with black and white text on a plain screen. Case 1846. Subject, the worm. Date of order, October 13. Date of delivery, October 17. Targets, 3. Status, expired. Then it cut to footage of me from 2 weeks earlier, walking through the hallway, head down, holding my books. Troy tripping me. Landon laughing. Zeke filming. Another clip, me in the locker room, blood running down my shirt. Troy holding the knife. Zeke zooming in. Landon's hand over my mouth. They had footage I never saw. Angles I never knew existed. Like someone had been watching me for weeks, recording my pain, documenting everything. The rest of the video was the kills, but different. They added a filter, grainy, sepia-toned, like an old war documentary. The hammer impacts were in slow motion. You could see the exact moment bones snapped. The spray of blood captured like fireworks in the night. There was no music, just that fucking whistle. Again and again, until the final shot, a freeze frame of Zeke's body swaying on the goalpost. Then fade to black, and one final line. Justice delivered, memory purged. I closed the laptop, ran to the bathroom, and vomited until I couldn't breathe. I didn't tell Corey about the video. I didn't need to. I think he got the same one. We didn't speak at school, didn't text. It was like some unspoken rule had formed between us. This invisible wall. We were never supposed to talk again. That part of our lives, whatever it was, had ended the moment we hit submit. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. The sound of the hammer. The way Zeke's voice broke when he begged. The smell of blood I swear I could still taste, even though I hadn't been there. I started sleeping with the lights on. I couldn't look at hammers without flinching. I started to wonder if I'd really done the right thing, or if I'd just become worse than them. A different kind of monster. They called me Worm. But now I was something else entirely. A week later, I found myself at Greywater Cliffs. If you've never been there, it's this stretch of coast about 30 minutes from our town. Mostly rocks and dead grass. The wind howls like it's angry at the sea. People go there to drink or screw or think about dying. Sometimes all three. I went alone. I didn't bring my phone at first, but halfway there, I turned around, drove back, grabbed it, and slipped it into my hoodie pocket. I don't know why. The cliffs were empty when I got there, just me and the wind. I stood near the edge, looking down at the crashing water. The drop had to be at least 60 feet. Sharp rocks at the bottom. No forgiveness. The phone in my pocket buzzed once. A notification from some random app. I ignored it. Instead, I opened my email. The delivery confirmed message was gone. Auto-deleted, like it promised. No record. No trace. I opened the browser, typed in the address for Obsidian Net. Dead. Offline. Server not found. No evidence. No proof. It was like he'd never existed. Like none of it had. I stared at the horizon and tried to feel something, anything, relief, guilt, closure. But all I felt was weight. This pressure in my chest. This invisible anchor dragging me down. The memory of Landon's scream. Troy's last look of horror. Zeke's shaking hands. The blood. The camera. The hammer. All of it lived inside me now. I closed my eyes and listened to the wind. I thought about my mom. Her tired eyes. Her night shifts. I thought about Corey. His quiet smile. And I thought about Bane's ugly cousin. Where he came from. If he was even human. If he was still out there. Waiting for the next order. Waiting for the next worm. This is the Curator. I hope you've enjoyed today's scary story. Until next time.